Spinosaurus is one of the strongest apex predators within prior extinction. It could grow significantly larger than any other theropod in the game, but not many people know how to use this power. So in today's video, I will be teaching you everything you need to know about Spinosaurus, how to PvP with it fairly, and yeah, let's get right into the video. As of right now, there are two Spinosauruses within prior extinction, Spinosaurus aegypticus and Spinosaurus moroccanus. They are very different, but also very similar. So in this video, I will be going over the differences and similarities between these two giant predators. Both Spinos share the same stats in every way. There is no difference at all between their stats. However, their models, animations, sound effects, and pretty much everything else about them is very, very different. Spinosaurus was first added to the game during late October 2023 during the Rise and Fall 1.5 version 1.7 update. It was released alongside Diplodocus's remodel, Bistahevosaur, Tonontosaurus, and Synthosaurus. This version of Spinosaurus has remained pretty much unchanged, with some minor model and animation tweaks. As it currently stands, Spinosaurus requires 5 million amber to be unlocked. However, you can use fossils to discount this down to a quarter of its price. You need 75,000 fossils in order to lower a Spinosaurus's price down to 1,250,000 amber. Spinosaurus moroccanus was added as a species skin variation for Aegypticus back in late March 2025. It was originally meant to be a remodel for Aegypticus, however, the developers decided to go a different direction and add it as a species variation for Aegypticus. Now, you may be wondering, why would they do this? Well, there are quite a few reasons why this is beneficial to the game. Now, one obvious reason as to why Moroccanus is beneficial is money. The game needs money to continue development, and species variants are a great way for the game to make them. Now, you might be wondering, why is it 3,000 Robux? Well, that's because Spinosaurus moroccanus has an included slot with it. This means anybody who purchases Moroccanus doesn't have to get any slots for it, unlike the base apexes. And you might be wondering, why are they doing this? Why can't they just limit it? Well, that's against Roblox's terms and policies. A game cannot limit something that costs real money. Another reason why Moroccanus exists is consistency. Spinosaurus is part of the big three theropods, that which being Rex, Carcharodontosaurus, and Spino. Now, Rex and Carcher were already planned or already had their own species skins. Rex had Alaska, and Carch was planned to get Giga. So it only made sense that Spino, being one of the big three, would also be getting one of those. And although there aren't huge changes, they're still very different from their base counterparts. Now, the final and, in my opinion, the most significant reasoning. Spinosaurus in Archipelago was pretty much uncontested. Its only competition was Carcher and Giga that were on land, meaning it could just escape into the water, and when it went into water, it was only met by Sarco and Dinah, which were vastly overpowered. So that leaves the question, what could challenge a Spino? Well, the only thing that could possibly be thought of was another Spino. Thus, Moroccanus was created to create competition between two aquatic apex predators. One of the main differences between the two Spinos is their animations. Now, their hitboxes are relatively similar, however, their animations are what make them different. Aegypticus and Moroccanus have a very similar M1, both just a simple bite. The major differences arrive with their M2s. Egypticus has a bite and claw attack, which is simultaneous, whereas Marochinus has a directional claw attack that does not include its head. This hinders it to be more defensive. However, with it being directional, this allows you to choose which arm you want to swing based on where you look. Swinging with the right uses the right arm, swinging with the left uses the left arm. Both Spinos also have a tail attack. However, Egypticus has a very weird one. Looking to the right makes your tail swing higher, whereas looking to the left makes your tail swing lower. Marochinus's doesn't do this. It is the same no matter which direction you look in. However, with it being so long and having a curve down, you can hit higher up and lower depending on which segment of the tail you use. Egypticus versus Marochinus is a very close battle. It really depends on who is trying to kill who, and who's going offensive or who's going defensive. A Maroc will always do better defensively due to its longer tail and tighter M2. Egypticus will always do better offensively with its shorter tail and longer M2 range. With that in mind, you always want to prioritize landing M2s and M1s as Egypticus. A Maroc will always try to tailbait you. You want to try and work around that and get a side boxing battle going. This gives you an advantage, as your M2 has a longer reach, allowing you to land better headshots than the Maroc can. You always want to avoid offering up your neck to the Maroc. As you'll see in this video, I constantly offer up my neck to the Maroc, which eventually ends up with me dying. So the best way to avoid this is to keep your body on the Maroc's tail, not your neck. Egypticus versus Kark is very different from fighting Marok. You can afford to go either defensively or offensively, as you have a slight advantage in both. Your M2s can be used defensively, but at the same time they can be used offensively. You want to rely far less on your tail, although it will be useful in certain scenarios. It will be better for you if you make the Kark rush you. This allows you to weave their hits, but also land yours at the same time, granting you a better chance at bleed stacking. Fighting a Giga is essentially the same thing. You want to prioritize your M1 and M2 while also playing more defensive. In this scenario, a Giga will significantly outdamage you if you decide to face tank, so just try and avoid letting the Giga land headshots. Now for Marokness. Marokness is very different. Instead of being offensive and relying on M2 and M1, you want to rely mainly on your tail and M2. This means always letting your opponent get closer to you, and if not, backing up into your opponent. You also need to use your turning to your advantage, always getting their head onto your tail. Your tail won't do bleed or fracture, but it will deal damage, and that damage will add up over time. Headshots typically land between the 200 to 300 range against other large opponents. When pivoting correctly, you can land multiple headshots and then pivot into your opponent and land M2s. Against Giga, it is essentially the same thing, prioritizing your tail and M2 over M1. You also need to use correct turning to land those tail shots and avoid allowing the Giga to land neck shots. Once again, essentially the same thing, using tail and M2 over M1 and pivoting correctly every time to ensure you're avoiding their shots while landing yours. With that, I hope you all enjoyed this video and found it very helpful. Please do remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Later.